So you know this the Supreme Court case thing about they're not claiming election fraud. They're saying the Congress essentially did not provide this 10-day window legally required. It says the Supreme Court has accepted a complaint that 340 plus elected officials blocked a legal requirement of a 10-day review of the 2020 election required because there was legally submitted complaints. Now again, this is not saying the election was a fraud. It's just saying there were complaints and legally they have to have this 10-day window to look into that and review it. They did not. JC sent me this. This is not challenging the results of the election or anything about fraud. This is 100% a complaint that elected officials failed and in fact blocked attempts to have a 10-day legally required review. The best part, they seek that all 340 plus government officials be relieved of any status within the government, fired essentially, and place Trump back until a new election can be arranged because they failed to do this thing. The Supreme Court has accepted this is the update, as a petition of national emergency. This means that they can move on this as fast as they want and in fact do not have to hear arguments. Either they agree with the petition that the 340 plus failed to do their legally bound duties, or they do not think the law has merit. This is the process. 1. Friday, the Supreme Court will schedule a one-day private conference with 9 justices to determine if the complaint moves forward. Only 4 votes needed to move forward. Number 2, the Supreme Court, because it is deemed a national emergency, can either schedule a hearing or rule as fast as they desire if the law has indeed been broken. If they decide so, the lawyers who brought the complaint believes the Supreme Court will issue orders to the U.S. Marshal and U.S. Secret Service to arrest and remove 340 involved, revoking their credentials. Biden, Harris, most of the Democrats in Congress, as a matter of fact, and about half of the Republicans. This is a get-out-of-jail-free card for the Supreme Court. They do not have to rule on election fraud, right? Because we're not talking about election fraud. It was a completely legit election in 2020. This is not about election fraud. But it's a good get-out-of-jail-free card for the Supreme Court because let's just pretend if it was about some past election in the way back when, and the Supreme Court ruled a certain way, you're going to have some certain people in this country get absolutely effing pissed. They might riot. They might cause a, crazy shitstorm. But hold on. We didn't say the election was fraud, the Supreme Court. We're not ruling on fraud. There's this 10-day thing they didn't do. And because they didn't do it and there were valid complaints, we're just going to say the whole thing has to be done over. Which also means everybody since then doesn't count either. Which includes this election, you would assume, right? It remains to be seen. But I keep telling you, there's a plan and you got to trust the plan. I don't know if I didn't know that was the plan or if it even is the plan, what I just read you. But it was how interesting was it that this case just plops right on the Supreme Court docket. Oh, here we go. Yeah, we'll take it right away. We'll look at it. Oh, actually, we're going to go ahead and accept this and look at it. They accepted it. Any other time, they would have just thrown it back. No, that you don't have standing. You don't have this. Yeah, get out of here. But timing is everything. Timing is everything. As you know. And you keep hearing Mike Lindell, it's going to be a 9-0 ruling. The Supreme Court's going to get involved in this whole thing. It's going to be a 9-0 ruling. I'm telling you, I promise you. He just says it with this little shit-eating grin on his face. He just loves it. He keeps saying it now. Why is he saying that? How could he possibly 9-0? There's liberal Democrats on the Supreme Court. They're going to rule 9-0. Well, on something like this, I could see, my opinion, I could see all 9 ruling on it. Because this isn't a matter of this person won, that person not going to stand with the group. This is very simple. Is there a law that says if there's complaints filed, you have to do this 10-day review thing? Yes, there is. Did they do the review? No. Not even some of them might have. It was pretty much blocked by the Congress. They wouldn't, not only didn't do it, were blocking efforts to. This would be a real easy. And again, if you're Team Trump, good guys, white hats, and you know there's some liberals on that Supreme Court, and you done gave the speech about the military, you're going to rule. We're not telling you how to rule, but it's an obvious 9-0 ruling. You don't want any problems, do you? You don't want to go to prison, do you? No, for the crimes you guys have committed with your buddies. No. Just rule by law. We're not asking you to flip one for rule what the effing law is, which would be 9-0. So all the people on the left, Sotomayor, yep, they voted too. They teamed up, left and right, Supreme Court. This is just a fictitious thought of how this could go. Imagine 9-0. All the people on the left are going to say, wait a second. We were expecting 5-4 ruling or. Nope. 9-0. If you're a leftist in your team that you've supported this whole time, Barack told me to support them. He got some pics in there. Yep. Gay, lesbian, LGBTQ, Sotomayor, yes. The most recent lady, a person of color, yes. Whoa. It's like Austin Powers. Yes, no. That's what the left's heads are going to explode. My leftist Supreme Court people voted in favor of this? They sided with their other one? They'll blow up. Their heads will explode. Oh my God. Now, again, this hasn't happened. We don't know yet. But I do remember Trump telling us we were going to have a really good Christmas. As you know, tomorrow is Thanksgiving. Thursday. As early as Friday, day after Thanksgiving, and Tori Morris keeps talking about something about the holidays. Because someone was asking her about, what about, I thought you said midterms weren't going to happen. There'd be no midterms. And someone kind of barked at her, and the person asking, I go, well, hold on a second. It is a valid question. When Tori says something, it's usually take it to the bank, write it how she said it. It's done. She nailed it. But we did, in fact, have the midterms. But Tori did reply to that person in a little twisty way which was, I can see why. Something about it's not quite over yet, if you will, if you read in between the lines, and something about holidays. Holidays. Tell them about something. What the hell's holidays? Where did the holidays come from, Tori? What does that even mean? To play me out. What does it mean? There's nothing on the screen. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and that's it for today and tomorrow. They can't tell you everything. Remember the little X on Katie Hobbs? Again, if this goes way back to then, we're having the same complaints now during this election, this midterms. But Congress is about to be thrown out on its head, most of them. When Dick Algar pulled up that session, when he did that session about the hunched over, adjourning for the last time, how can we face this? It didn't say the entire Congress would be adjourning for the last time. However, if these 340 plus individuals, again, about half of the Republicans and like all of the Democrats, if the Supreme Court rules this way, go bye-bye. They will be adjourning for the last time. The next question would be, okay, do we hold snap elections all of a sudden? Does the military come in and step in temporarily because we don't have a freaking Congress? And since we don't have a freaking Congress, the military has to do something. Maybe some interesting things can get done in a hurry. Wink, wink. So I just want to share this with you. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. You know, I'm not saying I know this or that, but that just came across my phone from JC, and that's what I'm hearing online right now. Also, so again, timing, Christmas, holidays, Tori. All I want for Christmas is some Dems to go down. Let's see what happens.